Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Jason.
Hello, everyone.
And Stoney.
Hello.
Man, it feels like it's been too long.
Yeah. We had to take a little break there.
Yeah.
I fell
Had to juggle
and
some
hurt
things.
myself pretty bad. And then I was worried because Saturday night, Miranda and I went out to eat with my father and his wife.
Yeah.
And I caught food poisoning.
You just can't catch a
And
break.
I can't catch a break. By Saturday at 11:30, it was an explosive event.
No.
It was insane. I lost 8 pounds.
Wow.
Just for the listeners, we
Mhm.
record on Mondays.
Right.
I've lost 8 pounds since Saturday night.
Dang.
Gee.
Yeah.
Not the kind of
Dang,
rapid
Stoney.
weight loss program I think you're
No,
hoping for.
because the other one was pretty bad too. Busted my head open.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's good to be back kind of in the swing of things. So.
That's good. It's good to see you up and around.
Yeah.
I was worried there for a minute because I was like, man, I thought we promised that you were going to get wrapped in bubble wrap for the foreseeable future. So whenever I heard that, I was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
But it's all good. I'm glad to see you're well.
I'm still trying to plug along and find this new normal and this balance thing. And everything we take for granted.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Yep.
get something like this taken away, and people just don't realize what a struggle every day is now.
Yeah.
Cognitively, number one, but the balance part is just, I can turn and completely lose my balance.
Wow.
I can be closing my eyes and towel drying my hair, and now I have to sit down on a little chair to be
Yeah.
able to do that because I can just do it the wrong way and come crashing down.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm glad to see, like I said, I'm glad to see you're doing well, that you have people to help you out in those situations.
Mhm.
Not the food poisoning one. That's like a solo.
Yeah, that
adventure right there.
sucks.
That was by myself.
That
Um,
sucks. And that's a nice restaurant you went to.
Yes, it is.
That's kind of not the place that you would
Yes, it is.
think
Yeah.
that would happen.
Mhm.
But you just, even those places.
I guess
gonna-
everybody's cutting corners to
Uh-oh.
get the prices down. Maybe they cut a little corner there and
Mm-hmm.
cost me 8 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's a hard way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
On the other end of the spectrum, we got Mr. Jet Setter over here.
That's right.
Having a whole trip out there. That's
yeah. I went on a music cruise. Well, it's a cruise, but
I was going to say all cruises have music. on it.
my stepfather plays music.
nice.
He's been playing music pretty much most of his life. He plays the baritone sax,
Okay.
that's
and
nice.
his
I was going to say that's
Yeah.
real nice.
and his band along with another one. This was it was about 300 in this group that went on this cruise.
300 band members?
No, 300 members, just
Oh, okay.
people
People,
that
okay.
family,
Yeah.
spouses, and everybody associated with the band who wanted to attend. So it was a Norwegian getaway
Okay.
cruise, big ship. I believe that ship. I believe there was almost 4,000 people on that ship
Cool.
total.
Oh, wow.
It's a big ship.
So
I mean,
that's staff and
staff
guests.
and guests, and
Wow.
so it was a massive ship. I had been on one cruise before. It was a Disney cruise
Okay.
out of Port Canaveral, and I think back in 2009. So I've not been on a lot of cruises. So that was a nice cruise. We went to the Bahamas, if I
Nice.
recall, on that cruise. But this was a 7-day cruise. We left out of New Orleans,
Mhm.
and it was we went to our first stop. Of course, I had never actually exited the mouth of the Mississippi River.
Right.
So I was very interested to see the Mississippi going down that far.
Okay.
Which I had never seen.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, it was dark by the time it's late
Right.
Because the ship leaves at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
And at this
It
time
takes
of
that long to get down to the.
Oh yeah,
What?
it's about a 5 hours of cruising
Wow.
just getting out of the Mississippi River
From New Orleans.
from New Orleans.
That's insane because I've done it in regular boat stuff, and it does not take that long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it
Well,
was,
you also couldn't fit 4,000 people on
I was
your
going
boat.
to say, fun fact: the Icon of the Seas, which is the Royal Caribbean, can hold 7,600 passengers.
yeah.
Gosh.
With 2,800 staterooms and 2,300 crew members. So that's over 10,000 people possibly
That's
on a ship.
wild.
Yeah, it was a big. This was a big ship, and it's 4:00. By the time you wake up the next morning, I mean you're going to bed. Say
Yeah.
10:00, 10:30. You're probably getting close to the mouth of the river by that time, and of course, when you wake up the next morning, you're out in the middle of the
Right.
Gulf, and first day's at sea.
Yeah.
And then the second day is your first port of entry, and for us it was Cozumel. Me and my significant other, we got off the ship and just kind of wandered around Cozumel a little bit. Not that impressed.
Okay.
It's a tourist thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Not
It's a
that
tourist
impressed
thing,
with it. But we stayed out there 3-4 hours.
But you
then
got to
headed-
do it with her,
headed
and
back-
that should have been
headed
fun.
back. Well, I mean, she wasn't that crazy for Cozumel. That wasn't her
Right.
thing.
I think once you get, the hard part is, I think once you get like outside of like a certain band around like those cruise ships, when you get to some good stuff. But the problem is like you have to get back on the ship is the thing. So like there's like this area of
You got from 8 to 5,
right,
and
right.
that's it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
You better be
You can't
back on
go-
that ship.
You can't go too far.
yeah,
so.
it's funny because we saw some people that were running.
Get out. Oh, no. That's terrifying.
running down the gangplank to get to.
Nuh-uh.
Luckily, they didn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, at each stop, you could purchase excursions from the
Right,
ship,
right.
or you can go independent. And it just depends if you trust the locals to go bring you somewhere and bring you back
Right.
in time. That's on you if you do it. Now, if you do it through the ship, you're guaranteed to be back in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you spend more money.
Of course.
How much was like one of those excursions?
I think some can run a couple $100.
Yeah,
that's
it's could be $100 a person.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was $50, $60. Just depends on what the excursion was,
right.
and what you wanted to do. So we didn't do a whole lot as far as we did one official excursion.
Yeah.
Because after the way Norwegian sets up after Cozumel, then it's down to Harvest Caye, which is Belize.
Okay.
They own an island. Norwegian, the line does. And so
Wow.
they bring everybody to that island. So it's a beach day all day,
Oh, that's fun.
which was nice. So, and they had some zip lining there and stuff like that if you want to do all that. We just basically chilled out on the beach, went out in the water, and it was probably like 80-something degrees.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So it was nice.
That's cool.
And then after Harvest Caye was probably my favorite stop was Roatan in Honduras.
Yeah.
Roatan is an island right off of Honduras. Beautiful.
That's cool.
Lots of poverty.
Mm.
A lot of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what poor is
Right.
till you visit these countries and see exactly how these people live. I mean, outside of the little tourist spot where people hang out, which was
Right.
a nice area, and they were doing some work while we were there. It looked like they were enhancing the beach areas and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But we did a snorkeling kayak excursion, which was nice because the guy. It was actually a guy from Chicago.
Wow.
He's
okay.
been down in Roatan for 30 years.
Wow.
He was kind of giving his story. His sister owned a dive shop there, and then he ended up going down there, and she ended up
Wow.
closing their dive shop, but he stayed. And so he's been there for 30 years. So
That's crazy.
He does these little tours. So he owns a restaurant there, and he picked us up, brought us to his place, served us refreshments, quesadillas.
Oh, that's cool.
Then we went out, did our snorkeling, saw some absolutely beautiful fish. Saw me a big red snapper.
Oh, there you go.
It was pretty cool.
Nice.
And he was right there by me because I was in the middle of all those coral reefs down there. The water is crystal clear.
Wow.
It's a different world down there.
Yeah.
So we did that for about an hour. Then we went back, and then we chilled out and rested and had some more, iced tea or lemonade.
Yeah.
And then we got in the kayaks and we went to another little beach area.
And it was all one excursion.
One excursion.
Thing? Oh my gosh!
And,
Wow,
went to a beach, and then our guides basically gave us some information on some of the flora, like some trees, and they showed them healing salves and stuff like that. Of how the locals did things really before doctors got there, and very interesting. I saw a big giant avocado tree.
Oh wow!
Okay, that's neat.
That's cool.
And but that was interesting. Got back in there, went back, and then of course they brought us back. And
Man, I wish I'd have known you was going to Honduras. I'd have told you to look for some cigars for me.
you go.
Bring me
There
back
was
a couple
plenty
of-
of.
That's what I was going to say. Bring me back some cigars.
There were plenty of them.
Can you buy a couple of? That's probably got to be fairly cheap there.
Yeah, and then but then you have to has to get through customs, and you got to claim that and all that. We bought some coffee.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
So I brought back a bag of.
Honduras has great coffee.
I brought back
will
a
say.
bag of dark roast and medium roast.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, this morning, my girlfriend, she had some dark roast and said it was very good.
That's cool.
So,
Well, how hard is it? I mean, what are they going to charge you? A tax to bring it back in, or do you just claim it?
I didn't have to claim bag coffee at all.
Really?
Nope, didn't have to claim. There was only certain things you had to claim.
And cigars is one of them.
yeah.
Cigars
Or
is
alcohol
one of them.
probably is
Yeah,
another one,
anything
yeah.
with alcohol. But we did that. That was the longest day there. The ship didn't leave till like 5. You had to be back at ship for 5:30 that evening.
Yeah.
Now, what I wish I could have done, and my girlfriend was kind of wanting to do it, but me, I didn't know about time and all that. But there was some private, independent tours, and you can go to, and nicest people, they're just trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
And but I want to go hold the monkeys and the sloths
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which would have been nice. I saw a lot of pictures of people who did that because there was an actual official excursions,
Right.
but they had already filled up by the time we were trying to do
Okay.
it. So they recommend you actually book these excursions before the cruise,
Wow.
where you're not fighting that because they fill up fast. So we did that, but we hung out. I've got some awesome pictures of Roatan,
Yeah.
which is probably my favorite.
I've never been on a cruise before, but like would you say that like for the amount of money you spent on it, was it worth it? Like in the grand scheme of things?
Oh yeah, I thought it was. I the travel agent that prepped all this. I asked her. I said, "Where does this cruise stand in the hierarchy of cruises?" And she indicated this was probably a mid-level.
Okay.
So I asked her, so what would be a step above this ship? And
Right.
she goes, probably a Princess or even some Royal Caribbean cruises might be a little bit fancier. And of course, depending on how much money you want to spend.
Of course.
I mean, you
can always spend more money.
You can get into Celebrity, Celebrity X, MSC, Virgin.
Wow.
And of course, always the top of the line is probably Viking.
Okay.
Now you're getting into 6,000 a person for 7,000 a person.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes the ships are a little smaller,
Yeah.
a little bit more intimate.
Of course.
They can get these smaller ships and get into places these big ships can't.
Right. Right.
So that expands your possibilities of where your stops are.
Okay. That's cool to hear.
But, highly recommend anybody that's going on a cruise soon to look at the excursions.
Yeah.
If there's something you want, book it now and pay for it.
Now, did y'all do like the drink package and the meal packages?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, what is it? There's the galley or whatever is free. It comes with it.
Well,
But if you want to do some of the other stuff, you got to pay for it.
Right. There's special.
You got alcohol packages.
We
you got
had
a soda package.
We had the unlimited drink package.
Oh, hey.
But I say that with caveat. It's not unlimited.
Right.
Okay. Basically, they capped a dollar amount on wine to like $15 a glass. So anything that would cost over 15, you had to pay the difference. So, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
You know, to me, when you say unlimited, it means unlimited.
Yeah.
That means whatever. Now, I understand how people would say, well, you got to draw a line somewhere because otherwise people be drinking Dom Perignon,
of course,
all
for
free.
Long,
and it's you would have to adjust the amount of money that package would be. So I didn't like that per se, but for the most part, it worked. I had 2 specialty dining options for this particular package they offered us for this cruise, which are there are a number of specialty restaurants outside of the normal kind of eatery places that are on the ship.
Yeah.
And we ate at 2 restaurants. I think one was called Ocean Blue, and the other was Cagney's. In Cagney's, it was a steakhouse.
Yeah.
And then Ocean Blue, obviously, is a seafood restaurant. Now, there were a couple others that I would have liked to have gone to. There was an Italian and a French, but and they had some Asian, sushi and those kind of places that were also specialty, and you would have to pay, which we did.
I was going to say you had to pay, but did you have to book these ahead of time?
Correct. You would have to book those because you have to have reservations, otherwise they fill up.
Makes sense.
Other than that, we ventured out, and I paid for an additional specialty restaurant that was not on my package, so I just had to eat that cost. There was some liquor that I had to eat.
Yeah.
Eat those costs, but I mean overall.
And then what is it, like a daily tip that you gotta?
Tips are already included in the deals. You don't tip anything.
No. But what I'm saying is, you have a daily tip that you have to fund before the trip. It doesn't come with the package; it's an additional thing, right?
No, it was nothing different.
Really?
No, it was simply the only thing that you would have paid for on the ship, in addition to whatever your package, whatever that package may be.
Yeah.
It would be additional specialty dining options, additional booze that went over your allowed amount. Like I had a Sangiovese bread.
Okay.
That they considered that exceeded the normal amount that they would allow. I had to eat that cost.
Yeah.
But, the entertainment was good. There was a show called The $1 Million Quartet, which was a very interesting story, which I didn't realize, even though I have visited this place before, was the one time that the 4 classic musicians got together was Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins, I believe, who, if anybody, just music trivia, he's the one who actually wrote Blue Suede Shoes.
Yeah.
When he tried to do it, it flopped. It was only when Elvis did it that it made what it became. But this story, I never knew the story of these 4 guys and how Sam Perkins, who was a very some say the father of rock and roll. He was the one that really made this kind of music popular, and he just how he did it. But it was interesting, the story of him and those 4 musicians. So the actors that played those particular musicians, I thought they did a real good job. It was a real good show.
That's cool.
So if you get a chance to watch the $1 Million Quartet, to some of the dynamics of some of the fighting between all of them at the time, and how they basically all ended up leaving Sam Perkins.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I didn't realize that Sam Perkins was also an early investor in Holiday Inn.
Really?
Yes, when Holiday Inn was
Wow.
so he took the money he made that when he sold Elvis's contract to RCA, he took that, invested in this new hotel chain called Holiday Inn.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So
Dang.
it was a good show. Matter of fact, at the end they showed the photo of those 4 guys.
Yeah.
I have that photo that I took when I went to Memphis
Yeah.
back in 2023.
Right.
I visited Sun Studios.
Yeah.
That's where all that took place.
Wow.
So the piano where you see that photo of Elvis on the piano with the other 3 behind him, that's where they took that photo.
That's crazy.
But that was
How
an
iconic.
interesting, great show. They had other shows. They had a musician, a magician, which was really good. And it was another show we went to see called something Broadway, which was nice. But I mean, outside of our deal in Roatan, the next stop was Costa Maya, which is also in Mexico, which is nice. We actually rented bicycles, and we went and drove around rode around the town, me and the girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we had a great time doing that. It was electric bike, so we were able to go
fun.
through
Those were fun.
Go through all the markets and see all that, and it was interesting. We sat on the beach for a while, but that was a short day.
Yeah.
And we had to be back at 12:30.
Oh man. Yeah.
Wow.
So we had to jump back on the ship pretty quick, and then of course the next day, I mean, you're leaving, and lo and behold, while the ship is pretty much, because I was kind of tracking where we were at right when we're getting ready to enter the straits out of the Yucatan into the Gulf.
Right.
I see an alert hit of a sea quake that hit in the middle of the Caribbean Sea.
Yep.
What?
And they had issued tsunami warnings.
Wow.
So I be honest with you, I'm very concerned if any of the areas we hit
Yeah.
experienced any problems with that. But they issued tsunami warnings actually for the northern Gulf of Mexico too.
Really?
Excuse me. Point of order.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I know.
Point of order. Gulf of America.
Oh yeah, that's right. Gulf of America now.
Okay. Is that official?
You knew where I was.
I
Yes,
know.
it's official now.
Get out.
Yes.
I thought that was a joke.
Well,
Even-
it's going to be.
I think even Google Maps has changed it. A couple of
Yeah, those executive order President Trump signed to change the name. Now,
Yeah.
it's going to take a while to change the vernacular of you.
Of course.
Because the Gulf of Mexico is what it's always been. So, but the Gulf of America. But yes, they discontinued the tsunami warnings for the Gulf, but not for the Caribbean. And so it was about, initially there was a 8.0 quake, that's a nice sized quake out in the middle of the water. That'll move a lot of water.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, because I knew what I saw in Roatan,
Yeah.
it wouldn't take much for something to come ashore. Now, I didn't also realize a little bit of history of the country of Honduras and what does Honduras mean.
Yeah.
Of course, that was named by Christopher Columbus,
Right.
and the name comes from deep water, because right off where we were snorkeling, it drops like 2,000 feet.
You can even see it on Google Maps. I have it pulled up right
It
here.
is. That's where
It's deeper than I think some of the Gulf of Mexico actually, or Gulf of America. Apologies.
Yeah. I mean, there was. It's once you get right past the land, it falls off pretty quickly. Matter of fact, the guy was telling me while we were in Roatan that his friend actually built him a submarine, and he actually goes down to like 2,000 feet and sees all the fish, because there's certain fish at that level
Yeah.
that he goes down there and observes. So it's pretty interesting on
That's
that.
crazy.
But overall, it was a great trip. I enjoyed it. I probably would think about doing another cruise. It would probably be now the Eastern Caribbean, which means we would have to leave out of Florida for that, because there's nothing around here
Yeah.
that goes that far. I think there's one cruise I saw that maybe go to the Keys, but beyond that, that's it. Most of that you have to leave out of Miami or Port Canaveral
Right.
to go to. So me and the girlfriend, we had talked about the next cruise, and that looks like that may be where we'll probably go next. We'll probably
That's cool.
do Royal Caribbean or something like that. But
I'm glad you had such a great
experience.
time.
It was fun.
That's
I
so
enjoyed
cool.
it. It was paradise.
And you found out whether you make good travel companions.
Yes,
you know, right?
we did.
That's one of the things early on when Miranda and I first got together. We went on a week-long trip to Vegas. I don't know if y'all remember.
I do remember that. Wow. Yeah.
And we were able to find out very quickly if we were going to be good travel companions. And that's nice to know early in a relationship. I think that should be a requirement, that if you're going to date somebody and think about marrying somebody, you got to go on at least a week or two vacation and plan it together, do everything together, travel it together, and then say, hey, okay, is this worth it or not?
Yep.
Well, it was fun, and it goes by quick.
You look like you had a good time. You got a good smile on your face. You look like you had a good time.
Now it's
back to the real world.
Back to the real world, and waiting on the next trip.
Yep.
Okay.
Which for me will be in probably May. Might be going to Florida.
Okay.
And then in July to Glacier.
Dang.
And then in probably October to Las Vegas.
Wow.
So this year's
you got a whole.
This year's going to be busy.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it sounds like you're enjoying retirement a little bit.
I was fixing to say the same thing. Welcome to the retirement.
Yeah, it's nice. But with my girlfriend, she's still got to work. So
of course.
And I'll probably maybe going back to work too this year. So it's my time off is probably coming to an end. Easy living, and waking up when I want to wake up and do what I want to do. But got to
enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, but that's cool. Nothing. Believe me, to travel takes money.
Oh, 100%.
Takes money.
100%. Well, with all that being said, if you want to try and reach out to us, you have an email address, getitfitted@gmail.com, where you can send us your more long-form answers. We also have comment sections on things like Spotify and YouTube. We had a little hiccup with YouTube, but I think we're back on track now. So for those of you who listen on YouTube, check back in, see how it's all working, because it should be back operational again. Sorry about that. Until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. God bless.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today. You're the best. Peace.